Hello, everyone, and welcome to Makeover Monday 2023, week 24. This is Watch Me Viz, a session where I approach the data set, I review the original, I explore the data from that particular week, I go through lots of different charts, lots of different designs before I come up with my final solution. And I will do my best to explain everything that I do along the way. Hopefully, this is a great learning opportunity for you. If you are new to this these sessions, there will be a link to the data set and this final workbook, or the workbook that I create, in the description. So feel free to download them after this live stream is finished. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond as they come up. Please though keep your comments relevant to this particular live stream. Sometimes I get questions. It's like, well, how do you solve this problem? It has nothing to do with the live stream at all. So if you could, please keep your questions focused on this particular live stream. With that, let's go ahead and share my screen. Share my screen. I understand. Let's go with the entire screen and share. Okay, so let me hide that, and let me now hide that. Oh. Okay, there we go. Now let me just move myself to the bottom right corner. Okay, now we're set. So this is a particular data set, but before we get to that, I would like to invite you to sign up for my weekly newsletter. So sign up for my weekly newsletter. If you go to andykribel.com, every week I send out a tip, which is a preview ahead of anybody else that gets to see it, several days ahead of time. I also give you access to discounts on products that I create. So for example, I now have 6 products that I've put up for sale. They're all very cheap. So just a way for me to get a bit of funding to pay for all of the costs that I have for running these webinars and creating the content that I do for you. So please remember to subscribe. You also get access to a Discord server for free, but you can only get that if you join the newsletter. So again, go to andykribel.com and sign up. Already have one question. Can we use this dashboard in our portfolio? How to give you credit? Rahul, I would please do not use this in your portfolio because it is not yours. So you should only put things in your portfolio that are yours. If you decide to build something similar and it's kind of inspired by what I do, when you put it in Tableau Public, on the very bottom, there is a section where you can give attribution to people. So you just put a link to my workbook in there, but please do not take somebody else's workbook and upload it onto your own portfolio. So that's really not good. It's almost like copyright infringement. So yeah, please don't do that. Okay, so the data set for this week is about global cereal production. And actually, let me just go ahead and go to the website. I thought I had it pulled up already. Here we go. So basically, this is the kind of the main part here. Because the population has continued to grow over the last 50 years, we need to produce more and more food, but land is limited. So there's a couple things that can happen in order to feed the growing population. One is expand the area of the land that is used for crops, which means less living space, or it is increase the yield output. So that means basically getting more out of the crops than you would otherwise. So it can be through chemicals, through water use, all different kinds of farming practices to help you get through that. And now this is the data set that we're looking at. So pretty simple here. We can see that we've got a nice little title, nice and easy to understand. It's got a link back to this page. And all figures are indexed to 0 to the start of the timetable. This means the first year of the time series is given the value of 0. So this is looking at the change since the beginning. So in other words, the population has grown 157% in 2021. It's 157% higher than it was in 1960. As I move this slider, everything still adjusts to 0 from the baseline of 0. The other option you can do is you can change the country. So altogether, that basically means, sorry, this is the chart view. So we have this one chart with all 4 metrics combined. And then if we click on this option here and do split by metric, we can see that we have 4 different charts. So it splits out each of those 4 lines into 4 different options. And if you untick this align axes scales, you get something like this, which basically it just, they're now all, each chart is on a separate scale. And this is looking at it for the word. We could add a particular region, like let's say we want to look at lower and middle income. We can do that. And then I don't think I need to hit apply or anything like that. And now we're just looking at low and middle income. I can add maybe the world back in, and we can compare that to the world. Okay, something like that. And now we get multiple lines. If I go back to the okay, then we can also split it by country. So this now, I don't quite, oh, okay. So this now put all 4 lines, but each row is a country. And then go back to all together, we now have twice as many lines. So this is probably just way too busy here. So I'm gonna go back to my countries, and I'm only gonna show the world and all together. So what I'm gonna try to do, I actually kind of like this visualization. It's very easy to understand. The thing I don't like is these different dots, the dots that are on each of the, the dots that are on each of the lines. So I'm going to try to get rid of that. That's easy enough to get rid of. So I would get rid of those. I'm going to keep the scale at the bottom. But one of the things I want to do is this all together. I want to try to mimic what this does here, this all together is split by metric. And I think I can do that with dynamic zone visibility. And I'm going to focus on doing this just for the world. And then we'll worry about maybe including other countries later. But for now, I'm going to do it just for the world. So if I go over to the data set, this is what it looks like. We've got the entity. This is actually a country. So I'm going to rename this to country. Country/region, actually, because it could be a region. Or actually, no, I think I need to leave it renamed as entity. And then the code. So some of these could be countries. So I could make these as country codes, but then I'm not going to create a map anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that yet. And then we have our 4 measures. And we've got cereal production, cereal yield, population, and land use for cereal. So I'm going to rename these. So cereal yield, that's this one. So cereal yield. And then production. And then population. And then what's the last one? Land used for cereal. Probably could get rid of the word cereal in those, but we'll worry about that later. Besides that chart, what other charts would you consider making if it's the question you're trying to answer? World map. I probably would not do a world map. What other charts could you use? You could do bar charts. You don't have to have it as a change since the beginning. What else? I didn't really think about it. But line charts are probably definitely going to be the best options here. Maybe spark lines. Yeah, but for the purpose of this one, I'm going to just go ahead and try to rebuild the original because I just think that's going to be a fun thing for me to learn especially how to do this switcher between all and split by metric. So I'm going to try to do that. All right. So let's now go to our first, let's see, the numbers. Let's see. So land used for cereal production. Okay. Yield. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the sheet. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to filter down to the world. So that gives me my, we're looking at just the world now. And then I want to put my year on the columns. And I want to show a filter for that. But I'm going to change my filter to be at least. So now this is going to be, well, actually, they have it both ways. Okay, so let me make this range of values. So now I can make this a slider like they have. Okay, and then on the rows, I'm going to actually have all 4 of these. So let me just, oh, didn't want to do that. So measure names, measure values, and then I can get rid of the count. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got our 4 different values. And what I want to do here is I want to make each of these a percent change from the start. So on the serial production, for example, I'm going to go to add table calculation, percent difference from, specific dimensions, and then relative to the first year. Now, I don't want to pick a specific year here because I need to be able to filter my years. So if I make this, let's say, relative to 1961, but my first year, but I filter my years to start in 1971, everything would still be relative to 1961. So we don't want to do that. Okay, and then now we could go to percent difference relative to first, percent difference relative to first, and then percent difference relative to first. Okay, so now we've got, all right, and then let's go ahead and format this view. The axis we want to do as a percentage, and they do it with a plus sign. So let me shrink this down. And then they want to have a format of a plus for the positives, and then, oops, what happened here? And then a semicolon with a minus 0.0%. So the semicolon, not 0.0, just 0%. The semicolon allows us to split the positive and negative values there. All right, so we can now edit this axis and get rid of the value. There we go. So now when I hover, okay, so one of the things that I need to be able to do then is now in my tooltip, you'll see that, okay, go away. Why is it not? Okay, there we go. So when I hover over, I can see each of the values. So I'm going to take all 4 of these fields on my measure values, and I'm going to copy those to my tooltip. So now when I hover over them, I can see each of them. Now, the names in my tooltip are really strange, percent difference, and they use from first to long table across. That's not very useful. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag each of these over individually and rename them. So because when I drag it over to the left, I can save it as a calculation. So this is going to be percent. Let's see. This is going to be just, let's see. Okay, so, oops. I want to so we'll call this, I'll just call it production. I want to put the little dot before it like they have here, right? So we see a nice little dot. Okay, so then I'm going to drag this one over, put that in, and then yield. And the third one is population. And then the fourth one is land used. Okay, so now when I look in my tooltip, I can see, what the heck? Why did that not work? Ah, okay, so let me get rid of, oops. Let me bring them on again. So the reason that didn't work is because, so if I go back here, you see these don't have the dot before them because it didn't, I didn't change the names of these. I changed the ones in the measure values shelf. So let me highlight those and drag those onto tooltip. And now I can see each of those. So that looks good. Okay, and now I want to go ahead and fix my colors. Let's see, what would be a good palette to use? Let's see. Just trying to find a palette that I might like here. Let's see. Where's the ones? I'm looking for the ones that are like the bright colors. Oh, here we go, light. But I want to have enough different colors. Let's try this here. No. Maybe I'll try this. Okay, something like that. And then, so I'm going to make a note of these colors. Not the best colors, but that's okay. So I'm just going to grab each of these. So copy, paste. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Okay, so that's my population. Okay, so I'm going to now go into my tooltip, and I'm going to, I can get rid of that. What does our tooltip look like? Here, okay, so here, and then it has, okay. Okay, so production. Heck. So, and what's the last one? Population. Okay, so that makes that pink. And then land used is my orange. Actually, we'll just start at the top here. So this should be production. And then yield. And then land used. Okay, so I'm trying to get a bit of the formatting out of the way. Land use, population, yield, land used. Okay, so let me move this one up. That. Okay, there we go. And they have the 2 decimal places, which I think, yeah, so let's set the default number format for these. So default properties. We're going to set it to a percentage to 1 decimal. So plus semicolon minus 0.0%. So now what I should see is all of these are now 1 decimal. Okay, that's better. All right. So that works. And then on the, I want to put on the ends of the lines, I want to have my mark labels, line ends. And then, but I want to have the measure names on the labels. Okay. That's not great. Okay, I can kind of get them where they look like they're on the end of the line. And then match mark color. And let's make them Tableau medium. Okay, so that's pretty close. Yep. All right. Oh, what happened here? I better go ahead and save while I'm at it. So Makeover Monday 2023, week 24. Global series. Let's see. What did I call it on here? Okay. Go back here to the article. Go back. Okay. So we've covered. Good morning. Hi, Stephen. Thank you for being here. Peter, you could have just changed the text in the tooltip and left the measure names to match those in the original. Oh, good point. Thank you for pointing that out to me. So here I could just get rid of the dot. Oh, no, you're saying the opposite. Yeah, so what I should have done, so if I rename this, I think it's, yeah, so now it just says that there. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. I was definitely overthinking that. Population. Okay. I'll just put a space after it. Okay. So that's better. All right. So now if I filter this, if I switch my year, for example, to 1971, everything is still versus a baseline of the whatever the first year is in the view. Okay, so that works well. They just have, okay, so let's format the view on our grid lines. We want to get rid of our column grid lines. And as they filter this, what happens to the years? So the first year is always showing. Okay, I'll just leave that the way it is in Tableau. And then what happens to our axis here? Okay, so I think we're okay here with our axis. We'll just let Tableau automatically adjust that. And then I need to get rid of my axis rulers and then my zero line. What do they have for the zero line? So 0 is just a solid line. Oops, undo. Rows. That is a solid line. And then the grid lines we want to have as dashed lines. You can hardly see them. There we go. How's that? Make it a bit bigger. Yeah, good enough. If I make them dashed, what does that look like? Okay, dashed is a bit better. And just going to make them very faint, just there for a bit of context. Okay, let me save again. So we've got our filter. We have, okay, so what I'm going to do now, I want to get the first year in the view to include in my my title. So create calculated field. We call it year for title. And it's going to be a window min of the attribute of year. Okay, so now if I drag that into the detail, okay, and let me now stick that in the title just to see what it looks like. So let's insert our year for title, hit apply, and we get 1961. That's good. So default properties, number, format. number, no decimals, and no comma. Okay, so let me explain what that did then. So this window calculation, it's looking across all of the years in the window, and it's saying bring back the first one, but it starts by the inside of the table calculation. It has to be an aggregation, and I don't want to do min or max or average or anything else like that for a year. So I need to do the attribute, and the attribute function says return the year if only one exists. So in this data set, there's only 1 year going left to right. For each year only exists one time. So that's why the attribute function works. Okay, so let's hit OK. And then maybe I'll move change in serial production. Why don't I call it? Let me go back here. Oops. Let's see. And it is, what's this called? Change in production since, and then the year. Okay. Okay, so now if I switch this, there we go, everything's versus 1990. Okay, so that all looks good. I can now get rid of my title on the axis. All right, so far so good. As you can move the end year to, you may want to create a window max of year 2. Yeah, so Peter, I could do a window max as well and say what the range is, but I'm just trying to, I think maybe you weren't on here in the beginning. I'm just trying to mimic what they're doing in the original visualization. And everything that they have is, it says index to the start year. So it doesn't really matter what my end year is because everything is versus the start year. Actually, this should say, so this should say versus. So everything should be versus 1961. So I think I'll leave it like that. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. Okay, I can now get rid of this. I don't need that. And that is, so we could call this chart all together. And then this one is going to be split by metric. Okay, so I'm going to create a parameter. This is view to show. I'm going to make it a string and a list all together. Let me see. And then this one has okay. So what I want to do now is, okay, this is where I get confused with the, with what's it called, the dynamic zone visibility, but we'll come back to that. I'm still a bit confused by how that works, so I might have to look up an example, but we'll get there. Okay. So essentially what I want to do is I want to create a calculated field that is my, I'm going to call this show all together. And I'm going to say my parameter view to show equals all together. And when you're using a string, you have to make sure it matches exactly with your parameter. So that's why I have to have a capital T there. So I'm just going to drag that here and choose true. And then OK. And then if I show this parameter, I could do, right, so that disappears. OK, so that's what I was hoping for. So that's good. All right. So let me duplicate this sheet. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this my title sheet. So, so I'm thinking of this in 3 parts. We've got our title going across the top, and then we have the all together, and then the split by metric. So this title sheet, I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of, oops. Okay. I'm just going to reset this title because we don't need that. And I'm going to make this discrete. And now I'm going to create a new calculated field. I'm going to call this first year. And I'm going to say year. Let's say attribute of year. Oh, actually, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to say first equals 0. Close my first filter. Okay, so if I put this here, this will be an easier way to show it to you. So my first filter, if I drag that here, and I want to compute using year, you'll see the first one is true. So what I can do then is I can do keep only on that one. And now if I switch this view, you'll see my title changes. That still says true, so I'm good to go. Okay, so this is going to act as my title sheet. So now I can remove that because it's done its job, and I'm going to move the year to the detail. And I'm going to change my mark type to, I don't know, maybe a circle, make it as small as it goes. And then the color I'm going to choose is transparent, which, let me create calculate field. It doesn't really matter. I'll just drag the color down to no opacity. So now this is going to act just as the title. My tooltip, I'm going to just get rid of my tooltip. So now you can't really see anything unless you just happen to hover over that, but we'll fix that later. I'll drag that up, make it as small as it can go. Okay, so this is now going to be my title sheet. This is going to be my all together. And now I'm going to duplicate this sheet. And let's call this first one. Okay, so now what do I have here? Because when I choose split by metric and then align axes, I think maybe I'm going to ignore the align axes option. So I want to, now this one's going to be just production. So let me just duplicate this production and duplicate, let's call this one yield. Duplicate land use. Duplicate occupation. Okay, so then I'm going to just get rid of these three. Get rid of, so that looks good. I can get rid of these three. I can get rid of year of title. Okay, actually I don't need year of title here either. So that's good. Production, I only want these three. Get rid of those, get rid of that, and get rid of that. Oh. But my measure names needs to be on color. Oh, I don't know what that is. So this one is going to be yield. Land used. That's quicker. Okay, and then population, like that. Okay, so now if I look here, okay, so these each have the title is the so production, land use, serial, yield. Okay, so each of these has my title, which I like. Okay, so let's make these bold and maybe 12. Okay. Now I can edit each of the axes and get rid of the title. Okay, so the formatting just takes ages. I did a Watch Me Viz over the weekend trying to build a visualization for the Maven Analytics, for a Maven Analytics challenge. And it probably took me about an hour and 15 minutes to do formatting. It was absolutely driving me bonkers. Okay, so that's good. That's good. So this filter needs to apply to everything using the data source, land use, population. Okay, what else am I? Okay, so now these have one decimal place, which I don't want. So let me format the axis and make it percentage 0 decimals, and then plus. Okay. All right. This is annoying because it's I think I'm going to need to redo this. So this one is just production. Right. So the problem I was trying to solve there was I need to have one decimal place in my tooltip, but no decimal places on my axis. So I'm having to reuse measure names and measure values. Okay, so let's put measure names onto filters. This one is yield. And I want to put measure values onto the rows. Okay, so that looks good. Get rid of my title. Land used, same thing. So no. Actually, I think what I'll do is I think I will leave the label on the end of the line so we can see that instead. Okay, so population, measure names, measure values, measure names. This is population. That's annoying. Okay, there we go. So those are all together. All right. And then I want to say, I'll call this one show tricks And I'm going to say view to show equals by metric. And then this is going to apply to worksheets. This is going to apply to yield, land use, population. Okay, and then here, get rid of that. Here, get rid of that. And then here, get rid of that. Okay, so now this one should be gone, and then these four should be working. Okay, so we've got all of our charts built. Now in their view here, the split by metric view, they don't use separate colors for the lines, but I'm going to continue to use separate colors. I think it looks a bit better. Okay. So get rid of that. Okay, there we go. So let's see what we can do now for the dashboard. So I'm just going to kind of look at the dimensions of this. So this is roughly 750 by 500. Let's see. Oops. Oh. Okay, so that's roughly the size that they used. I'm going to bring in a, let's see. I'm just going to bring in a vertical. I always start with my vertical container, so I might as well keep up with that. This is going to be 800, 600. And my inner padding is going to be 20. Okay, so now I'm going to put my title sheet in there. And let's make this fit entire view. And then now in the background, I have my my other junk here. So let me, okay, I'm gonna have to move that later. And then essentially what I want is I want to have these other two charts in here. No, I want to have my all together chart. And then I want to have another, I need to have a grid of 4 of like two across of the 4 split out by the 4 metrics. So I'm going to start with a vertical container inside of that container. And I'm going to put a blank in there just as a placeholder. And then I need to put a horizontal container in there. And this horizontal container is going to have land used and then serial production. So land used and production. And then I'm going to put another horizontal container in here. And this is going to have my yield and population. And now I can get rid of that blank. So the blank really helps as a placeholder there. So these two I'm going to distribute evenly. And then this container I want to distribute evenly. Okay, good. So now with each of these, let's see, actually, let me make this. I think I'm going to actually set this back to 0. And then this I'm going to set to, it doesn't matter, I'll just set it to 20. Let's make it 10. Then what I'm going to do is this one, I'm going to put 10 padding all around it. Okay. And let's put 10 padding. 10 and 10. Okay. Now the labels don't look very good, so let me see if I can clean those up a bit. If I put them maybe at the, let's just make them both automatic. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that didn't really matter. So I'm going to actually turn my labels off on each of these. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save. All right, and then we have our filter, which goes across the bottom. Okay, so let me go to, where is my layout? Let's get rid of the phone layout, delete. Let's go to inside of this tiled, horizontal, tiled, annoying. So I'm going to hold my shift key down and float that. And then I'm going to this one, hold my shift key down and float that. And then let's delete that container. Okay, so now my year, I want down the bottom. So I'm going to just drag that down there. So this is going to be my year filter going across. And okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to format this. I'm going to set my body text to, let's see if I make that like 14. Nope, that's not what I want. How do I change the readout thing there? I don't know if I can I? Let's format. Because I want these numbers like 1961, 2021 to be bigger, but maybe I can't do that. So that's the title. Okay, that's annoying. That's really dumb. Okay, so let me unshow title. Okay. You think I have the same filter for population twice in the filters for production and population. Okay, production. And then population. Population. I think you have the same population twice in the filters for production and population charts. Yeah, I don't think I do now. Maybe I did before, but I only have one of them selected now. So I think that's okay. All right, so, and then this one, oops, this control here. Let's maybe set the padding for that for 10 as well. Okay, and I'm going to put my text at the bottom. This is going to be my credits and everything. So let's say 8, light gray. Our world in data. Created by. Okay, that's good. And now this one, I'm also going to put 10 of padding around it. So now we can move that. It moves all the charts. And there we go. Okay, so that's good. So now this view here, let me just float this over here for now. So if I do all together, see it shows the all together chart, but it still keeps these in here because of the titles. So that's where the dynamic zone visibility comes into play. So if I select this and then select this, I should be able to do show metrics. There we go. And now if I do all together, I should be able to control that one using all together. There we go. That's all there is to it for the dynamic zone visibility. So that worked out really good. So all right, so that's working. Now I want to make this look a bit better, which is okay. So we now have that. So I want to I don't think I want, maybe I'll provide a filter for the country. So let's go to this sheet and let's filters. We'll make it entity. And then let's make this a single value drop down. So here, like I could pick like West Germany, for example. That didn't do anything. USSR. Oh, but I need to apply this filter to everything. Sorry, apply filters while using this data source. Okay, so if I go back to the world, it's looking at that, United States, etc. So there are some countries. So it has USSR and Russia split out because they are different countries back then. But I could look at, for example, South America, right? So we could look at that. We could look at, I don't know, North Korea, whatever we want to do. So I'm going to default this to, look at the yield. Wow, dropped way down. Population went up and then dropped way down. Maybe they were overstating the population or something. Let's see. What is the... is it Laos? There's a... Not Laos. It's not Cambodia. It's during the it's one of the is it Brunei? It might be where you see the population going down because of different I think there were like deaths or I forget what it is. Anyway, so let me move this here. So I'm just going to stick that there for now. Oops. Just move that up here. Okay, so I'm going to make this look a bit nicer in a minute. But so for example, maybe what I'll do is I'll bring in a horizontal container in there. Let's put this inside of that container. And then I'm going to put my entity inside of that container. And then let's put our padding around that just to be consistent. Okay. And then this, for now, I'm going to just like drop it. Oh, okay. So let's undo that. Again, I'm going to just try to move this out of the way. All right. So let me save. And what I could do is I could put a blank in here. Let's make it 10 wide. I'm just going to make a nice little divider here. So let's put 10 adding background, maybe a light gray. Okay. Just to kind of divide up the section. Let's make it. Okay. Putting a line in there so that I can separate them out. So maybe I'll make this a bit less wide. So let's make it 150. There we go. So now my land use title shows up properly. Okay. So, okay, I don't know what Bonaire is. Cayman Islands. Okay, so there's some countries that don't have data. Why they're in here, I don't understand, but it is what it is, I guess. Chad. Okay, so let's go back to world. And we have that. All right, so let's save that. Now, the last thing I want to do then is the population change in the original is linear, not varying from year to year. Oh, I see. This one here. Oh, okay, I see. So this is computing wrong. Let's see. Oh, I need to clean these tooltips while I'm here too. This is, oh, I'm using, oh, duh. So this should be here. And this should be here. I think that's what you meant earlier. Okay. Oh, all right. But I need to put measure values. on here instead. Okay, there we go. Thanks again, Peter. Always the attention to detail is fantastic. I love it. Okay, so then here, this is land use, so I want to get rid of these other ones. And yield. Production. Okay, good. All right, and then all together, it's not working. That's fine. Oh, but you know, I don't even think I need this filter on here, because when I go back over here, it's still hidden by my, yeah, so I don't even need that. So let's hide the title. Yeah, so I don't even need this filter. So that should have got, no. Because the dynamic zone visibility is going to take care of that for me. There we go. Okay, and then this one for my labels, I'm going to set them both to automatic. Let's see how that looks. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right, so that's working well. Production is still your measure value, and names is on the population tab. Oh, I see. Population. That's right. Production. Am I missing something? Jordan, I don't. So, Jordan, which sheet are you referring to? You say production is still your measure value on, and the names on the population tab. So if I go to the population tab, and I go into my measure names, this is population, and then I've got population and population. So maybe I fixed it while you were typing the comment. Perhaps that was it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay. Let's leave it like that for now then. All right, so we've got this all working. So what I want to do now is try to create like buttons, I guess, that will act like these. If I go back here, so kind of make these like buttons almost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new sheet. I'm not exactly sure how to do this, but I'm going to give it a go. So I'm just going to type in the average of 0. And the average of 0. So I'm going to get two axes here. Make them both shapes. And then in my shape shelf, do I have, I know that, let's see. Here we go. Buttons. Okay, so what's this one do? No, I don't want to do that. All right, so that's not quite what I want to do. All right, so these were actually drawn in PowerPoint, I believe. So I'm going to go into point. I'm going to try to create a couple of shapes. Shapes, let's see, let's make them maybe just something like this. No, that's not what I want. And then, yeah, we'll leave the outline. We'll do no fill. Okay, so we're just going to have this button. So if I go to my Tableau repository, shapes, buttons. So I'm just going to call this blank button. Okay, so then what I could do here then is go to shapes, more shapes, reload the palette, and then put this one in there. Okay. Oh, that doesn't look very good, does it? Shape format. I want to make the corners more rounded. So edit shape. Is there something better I could do? Okay, yeah, maybe something like that. Reload. All right, so something like that. And then this first one, so let's create a calculated field. We're going to call this one all together. And then if I go to my first marks card, all together is going to be on the label. And we're going to, so let's see, so we want our labels, we want them all to be, let's say maybe like, no, let's make them like 9, maybe Tableau regular. No, let's just leave it book for now. And then we want to center and center. And let's make the font maybe a lighter color. Okay, something like that. And then the next one is going to be split by metric. Okay, that's going to go on this one on the label. And okay, so let me do a bit of formatting now to get rid of all of the junk. Okay, let's get rid of our row dividers and get rid of our column dividers. Okay, so now we've got kind of basically 2 buttons side by side. And I believe, so I'm going to just test something here. So what I want to happen is when I click on split by metric, let's see. So I can do show metrics on color. Right, so all right, I think I need to change the shape here. Shape fill, I want it to be white. So let me try this again. I'm trying to basically fill in the color of the shape when it's selected. So let's go back here, shape, reload. Okay, there we go. So now it's colored it in. And then we want to have the out. All right, so that's fine. And then this one I want to have show all together on color. Okay, so this one is going to be show metrics on color. So when all together is selected, okay, so when this is not selected, I want this to just be like a gray. And then when this is selected, I want to maybe make it, gosh, what color should I use? Let's maybe make it a dark one instead. We just want to know which one is picked. And then on the all marks card, now I probably should use a color here instead. Let's maybe choose, what if we use yellow? Because I'm not using yellow in the dashboard. Okay, yeah, let's just use that for now. And then my label, my font I want to use is black. There we go. So that looks better. Okay, thanks, Jordan. Create a 2-row data set with your parameter values and create a sheet with your buttons on that. That's kind of what so Peter, that's kind of what I've done here. I've created a data set that has two values, average of 0 and 0.0. That's kind of a sort of the same idea. So now when I change this, so split by metric, I want this false to be gray. And then I want this true to be yellow. There we go. So now when I swap these around, we've got something like that. And now I want to add on some actions. So worksheet actions. Let's say change parameter. We're going to call this update all together. And the parameter I want to update is view to show. And actually, I'm going to make this all. Nope. Let's see. This is going to be sheet 7. And then the source field is going to be all together. Keep the current value. Click OK. All right, so that's that one. And then change parameter, update, split. And this is going to be all. Now it's going to come from view to, nope, yeah, view to show, split by metric. So what should happen now is when I click on one of these buttons, it changes my parameter. Okay, so that's working. That's what I was hoping for. Okay, so when I put this in the dashboard, so let's hide that card. Let's hide this card. Let's hide this card. Okay, and then, so I'm probably going to end up formatting this a bit more, but that's okay. So these are my buttons. And I'm going to add another calculated field. Try to do the de-highlighting. Let's see if I can make this work. I didn't get it to work the other day. Oh, I need to get rid of my tooltips. Okay, yeah, so that's working now. Okay, good. All right, so let's call this our 24. Save. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my, I wonder if I could, I don't think I could fit it here. Let me just try. Buttons. Okay, so I need to put in a vertical container here. That's going to go in the vertical container. Okay, and then this, we don't really need that. And now if I put the buttons inside of that container, hide, entire view. Okay, so they don't, I need more space for those. Okay, so let me just go back then. And where should I stick the buttons? If I put the buttons here, maybe what I'll do is I'll put another container in here. And I'm going to move this entity into there. Oh, what happened to that container? What the hell? What the heck is going on here? Yeah. This is so stupid. Why can I not drop something in that container? This is like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I can't even select it. There it goes. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, what's the point of even having that container in there? What the hell? Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, let me go back. So stupid. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my vertical container back in here. See, I can drop that into the container. And then I'm going to put my buttons into that container. Right. Okay, so I need to do something different here because that doesn't work. Maybe what if I flip them the other direction? And then instead of having, let's do it like that. No, that doesn't work either. Okay. I'm going to try one more time. What if I stick it down here? Let me just put it down here and see what happens. Now, how dumb is that? And now I can't drop anything in it again. Okay. Oh my God. So I think I'm just going to design this down here somewhere and then move it up at the end. Doesn't look great. Oh God, I'm going to kill somebody. Oh. Now I can't even select the container. Huh. I can see it there, but it's like it's hidden. Yeah, so that's those two. So that's something to do with this vertical container. Okay. Again, I'm just going to have to format this down here then. Okay, so let's maybe edit the width of this. Let's make it... okay, so I'm going to my buttons. I'm going to make the font smaller. Doesn't look really good either. So let's see what that does now. Okay, so it's working. And I love it, but I think we'll have to do. Okay. Okay, I think that's better. All right. So again, I can be able to maybe pick a different country altogether, split by metric. It's only got one. So let's look at maybe United Arab Emirates. Okay, that doesn't have it either. United States altogether, split by metric. Okay, now does this have... Okay, let me close PowerPoint, quit. If I go back here, so that doesn't really even tell us what to do with that. That's okay. But now the buttons are kind of cut off a bit, aren't they? That's weird. That's all right. Not gonna worry about it. So, yeah, we don't want to be able to move those labels. No. Okay. Curious to know your thoughts. I think we're nearing the end here. One thing I'd really like to know is where are you all dialing in from? It looks like you're, well, I don't really know where everybody's dialing in from. So while I do a bit of cleanup here, why don't you let me know where you're joining me from? I'm always curious to know where the audience is. And I'm just going to kind of play around with the size of this for a minute, maybe 1000 by 800. That might be better. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. We can filter the years. Maybe I should move my year filter then. So let me just bring this down here. I'm going to move my year filter into this. I'm going to try to move it. going to try to put this here. All right. From India, Brentford. Oh, I didn't know you're from Brentford. I used to live in Nishant. I used to live in Isleworth, so right around the corner from you. We're darn near neighbors. So let me customize this, make it. How can I format this? Let me show my title. You ignored us. Hello, Michael. I didn't see you guys on there. Maybe it went by too fast, Michael. Sorry. So, DS4 is here. Hi, DS4. Hope you're doing well. Getting on well with your first, what's this, week number 2. So you're probably doing maybe Tableau stuff this week. I don't know, but I hope you're doing great. I don't know if I'll see you before I'm back from my leave, but maybe I will. I'll be there in September, so I probably will see you. Chicago, Wisconsin, Florida. Tim, where are you from in Florida? I went to university at Eckerd College in St. Petersburg, and used to spend a lot of my winters as a kid in Coconut Creek, so down near Fort Lauderdale, Canterbury, and Kent. I think Canterbury always sounds very swanky. Bridget. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you. Michael, Orlando. Okay. Orlando is like one of the hottest places on the face of the earth. No air movement and unbelievably humid every day. Okay, so let's see. What do I have left here? I think I'm going to put maybe a couple of dividers between my filters. So let me edit the width. Let's make this 9. And then layout, I'm going to set the background to maybe a lighter gray, something like that. And then let me do that again over here. So let's put another 9 in there. So Michael, what is their punishment for having to watch this? Curious to know what they've done wrong. Okay, so now we've got, so what I could probably do here then is, okay, so why don't I copy that? So that's your range. Okay, and then I'm gonna maybe try to show a title here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so something like that. And then maybe I'll center that title. Okay, so altogether split by metric. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to now put in another blank in between these sections. So let's edit the height of this and make it 10, 9. The reason I'm doing 9 is because by default, Tableau gives you 4 pixels of outer padding. So 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom. So when I put a background in, it's a 1 pixel wide line. So let's make this 10 top and bottom. So again, just trying to divide out the sections of the dashboard. Let me do one more to divide the title as well. So let's put another blank there. Edit height 9, layout, background at outer padding 10. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good with how that's going. This still doesn't look, maybe I should just hide the title on that. Maybe that's, yeah, let's just leave it like that. So altogether, or split by metric, whatever you want to do, you can pick, let's start with the world, and all the titles adjust. Yeah, so I think this is pretty good. I'm quite pleased with it. And again, if we look at the title at the top, our year range will adjust based on what we pick. So there we go, all together. And I think that's it. So yeah, thank you very much for joining. And from all over, mostly in the US, Tableau this week. Data Viz 101 today. Okay, good. Enjoy class today, DS4. And everybody else, I will see you. I'm actually going to probably be doing another live stream tomorrow. So over the weekend, I did a live stream of, let me just kind of show you. I did a live stream. Let me show my screen again. If I go back here. Let's see, where is it here? So if I go back to my profile and this, so I built this for the Maven Analytics Challenge. Let me put it full screen. So what I'm going to try to do, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, is I'm going to try to rebuild this in Power BI and see how I get on. So I'm looking for reasons to practice Power BI a bit more. Now in Tableau, I did a lot of the exploration. So in Power BI, it's going to literally just be building the chart. So it should be a bit quicker because I don't need to do the explore chart. All I'm going to try to do is reproduce this exact view, but in Power BI. So keep an eye out. Click on subscribe on my YouTube channel so you get alerts when these things are new. I am now sharing these on LinkedIn as well. So I look forward to seeing everybody again, maybe later in this week, or if not, next week. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at andykriebel.com. There's discounts, new links to videos that I've done, new tips that are coming up. And thank you very much for joining, and have a great week. Bye.